If you've been active on the online art community, you've probably heard of Inktober. It's a great way to keep drawing throughout October and really boost my motivation, along with many other artists. But this year's prompts were not my taste, to say the least. So I went looking around for other prompt lists, and lo and behold, CRINGETOBER. My friends did it last year, and I wanted to give it a go this year. Here's the prompt list, by the way, made by Austin the Surfer Dude. They also have a YouTube video explaining each prompt, and I heavily relied on that video because I'm a little bit stupid. Hi, my name is Xander, aka That One Stupid Skittle, and here are the first 6 prompts of CRINGETOBER 2024. Okay, let's just get right into it. The first prompt was screenshot redraw, and I decided that I was doing this prompt list at 5:30 in the morning before I had school. So I was really pressed for time, and I knew I didn't have any other time during the day. So, I was really rushed for this drawing. I was considering doing that one thing where you insert yourself or one of your characters into a screenshot, but I literally had no idea what to do for that. So instead I started looking at Gravity Falls screenshots because I have been on a huge Gravity Falls craze. I've binged it twice in the past 2 weeks. I read the Book of Bill and I've been obsessed. If you've seen on my channel, I also made a baby Bill stuffed animal, and oh my god, it was so fun to make. And he's sitting on my shelf, and I absolutely love him. And so what better screenshot to pick to redraw from Gravity Falls than the most iconic one when Stanford was first introduced. Now, Stanford is really one of my favorite characters. I wish he was in the show more because he is just so fascinating. Like, all the stuff with him and Bill and McGucket and oh my god, I'm like fangirling right now over this, but I literally love him so much, so I wanted to do him justice, and this only took me 40 minutes. Here's the finished drawing. I'm honestly really happy with it considering my time constraints, as I mentioned, but I think if I had more time, it could have turned out a little better, but for day 1, I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, day 2, let's do this. Day 2 was Tsundere, I don't know how to say it, but the only character I knew who fit under this category was Natsuki from Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, I got into DDLC around 2020. I remember I played it one night with all my friends, like we had a sleepover, and we all just played it the whole entire night. It was so fun, and Natsuki was always my favorite. I also love Sayori, but Natsuki always has my heart. I spent like $200 on some of the merch. I remember I bought all the face pillows, all the stuffed animals. I have DDLC Plus, which I haven't played yet. Oops. Yeah, I was struggling to come up with a pose, but I was able to figure one out. Kind of just trial and error. And I did not feel like drawing a background, so I just got a picture from the game. But yeah, Doki Doki had my heart for so long, and I was really glad to be able to draw it. I got to play around with some cell shading, as you can see, which I really don't do very often. I think last time I did cell shading was for Art Fight. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. Her little cupcake was so fun to draw, and like how angry and cute she looks. She's just so adorable and so funny. Like, yeah, she was one of my favorites and will always be. I love you, Natsuki. Oh, and I don't know if this is a niche thing, but I remember there would be a few YouTubers who would give her a deep voice, and that always like made me cry. It was so funny. Does anyone else remember that, or was that like just me or whoever I was watching? And that's day 2 finished. I'm really happy with how this one turned out, a little happier than day 1, but as they go on, I think they get better. Next up for day 3 was oversized prop. I know I keep saying this, but for this one, I was also super lost. I was wondering whether I should draw a character who has a large prop, or just draw a character and give them a large prop. But I didn't know many characters who had large props, so I decided to do my character blank. I haven't done or posted much about my OCs on YouTube, but he is one of my favorites. I absolutely love him. So, as a little beginning description, he is a supervillain who used to be a hitman, and he's just trying to live a normal suburban life with his husband and his adoptive kid. He is an absolute genius. He has a Nobel Peace Prize for creating the first perfectly functional portal, and he does science on the side of his villainy. Him and his husband still will rob banks occasionally. Like, that's their form of a date. They're just like, hey, you wanna go rob a bank with me? But yeah, I absolutely love him. He's super grumpy and like cold and stubborn, but he's really sweet to the people who matter to him. And yeah, I just really like him. So I gave him a giant mug because he lives off of coffee. He is an insomniac. He doesn't get much sleep, considering he's also up all night doing his science-y shenanigans. So yeah, he's chugging down that big cup of coffee, but I mean, he's British, so I guess it could be tea too, but he prefers coffee because he needs the caffeine. And his husband probably gave him that mug because he loves his husband. They love each other very much. And that's it, yeah. And that's day 3 already done. This is definitely my favorite yet. I absolutely love how the lighting turned out, and it's pretty goofy, all things considered. Next is day 4, which was fursona. Now, I was never really a furry, but a lot of my mutuals online were. So I remember back in 2019, they were like, oh, Xander, like, you should make one just for fun. So I did. I made this little bunny who I named Skittles. It was based off of my childhood stuffed animal, which was a little white rabbit. And I just kind of abandoned the character for years. But last year, I was talking to my friend on Discord, and they made this lovely redesign for me in the top left corner. And I'm absolutely in love with this character now. I remembered they exist, and drawing them was an absolute blast. This pose just felt so natural for them, and oh my gosh, the little birthmarks. They took a little while, but they were really fun. I was messing around with liquify tool and a lot of lighting layers, but yeah, I was really happy with how it looked, and I named them Skittle because it's also part of why all my handles are that one stupid Skittle. I wanted a recognizable username that was kind of funny, but also like unique enough where someone could search it up pretty easily and not find other people, because as far as I know, no one else uses the username that one stupid Skittle. It was kind of a joke between one of me and my old mutuals, because they would always call me a Skittle because I liked Skittles and I was gay. So yeah, and like I said before, sometimes I am really stupid, so hence that one stupid Skittle. And it's pretty funny when other people don't know the backstory behind it and they're just like, that one stupid Skittle, what the heck is that? Not like there's much of a story behind it, but enough of it where it's sentimental to me. And that's part of the reason why I named this character Skittles. Plus, that was the name of my childhood rabbit. So, yeah. And that's day 4 finished. This is definitely my favorite one between all the lighting and stuff, and I wanted to make it look like some sort of poster, and I think I accomplished that pretty well. And day 5 was Gijinka. I think that's how you say it. At first, I wanted to do Gengar, as you could see, but I got pretty frustrated and got rid of that very quickly. I shut that down. So instead, I decided to do a human Bill Cipher design. It's been kind of a trend recently. I've seen a lot of artists doing it, a lot of very, very talented artists. The main one I can think of is Spoony Spine, I think their username is. Their human Bill cipher design, oh my god, I absolutely love it. This design, I kind of threw together a lot of different ideas. Some things I saw on what I liked with other people's and things I didn't like. Like, for example, I didn't really want him to be white. I felt like he looked better if he was tan instead of just being like pasty like a ghost. I threw together a quick little background instead of just doing stripes or a flat color. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. I added the cape because I still wanted to have some sort of triangular silhouette, and I added the blue glowing underneath the cape to kind of contrast against his more warm tones on the rest of the design, and to kind of resemble the flames that he has, like the bright cyan flames. This was done pretty quickly, but I'm very happy with it. And just like that, day 5 was finished. I'm actually really happy with this. I am very glad I did Bill Cipher instead of the Gengar one, but I might try Gengar another time. Now last, but certainly not least of this video, is CRINGETOBER Day 6, which was unnatural eye color. Now, when I first read this prompt, I very quickly decided to use my character Gray for this prompt because despite his name being Gray, he has red eyes, which also glow when he uses his superpowers, which I'll talk more about in a minute. A little bit about Gray: he's around 37 years old, and he's Blank's husband, who I drew for the oversized prompt. I'll try and give very little spoilers about his story, but he is also a supervillain, just like Blank. They met in the city around their 20s, and they became a sort of partners in crime sort of thing, and have been happily together ever since. They have a child, as I mentioned before. A little bit more about Gray himself. He was made in a lab. He is completely artificial. He is not a real person, I guess. He's not quite AI, but all of the parts of his body were completely man-made. If you look on his neck, you could see a little tattoo that says 272. That's his experiment number. So, little fun factoid in there. He was able to escape the lab, and that's how he met Blank. But Gray is a huge mother figure. He is incredibly protective of those he loves, but he is fierce. He will do whatever it takes to protect those he loves, whether that means fighting or, like, literally anything. He will do anything for the people he loves. And that's kind of being shown in this drawing right now. His powers, he mainly has fire powers. So when he uses those, his eyes glow. So I tried to work that into the piece as well with the lighting, trying to use the contrasting red tones and the dark green and blue tones. But yeah, that's Gray. Here's day 6 completed. I ended up cropping the canvas at the end because there was just a lot of empty space at the top, and that really irks me. But this is my favorite so far, and it was really good to see my improvement throughout these past few days. Thank you guys so much for sticking through this first video. This is the first YouTube video I've really made, so I'm hoping this all goes well. But I'm hoping to do more throughout October to show off my other CRINGETOBER stuff, because so far I'm really happy with what I've made. So thank you again so much for watching. Any interaction with this would be greatly appreciated, and I hope you have a nice day.